Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to our very first scholarship guide webinar at the RI Career and Scholarship E-Fair. So I'm Daryl with Scholarship Guide, and I hope you guys have been having a fine day so far. So first of all, thank you for joining us in our very first webinar. And today we have with us Felix, who has more than 30 years of international F&B experience. So he'll be giving us a talk about how to achieve SMART goals. But before we begin, maybe I can share a bit more about Felix. So he has achievement roles in areas of F&B operations, franchising, development of systems and strategy, business development, marketing, human resources, and finance. So some of the notable titles that Felix has held before include CEO of Milano Coffee JSC, Vietnam, with over 1,500 franchised coffee shops across Vietnam. He was also a director of franchise administration and business for the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, with 30 countries across Southeast Asia, East Asia, and Middle East. He was also the head of franchise development for Pasta Mania Singapore, with more than 10 countries across Southeast Asia, East Asia, and Middle East. And finally, just to share a bit more, Felix holds a BSc in Business Studies and Economics from University of Western Australia. And he has also an advanced diploma in International Franchise Law from University of New South Wales, Australia. So without further ado, let's welcome Felix and to begin his talk.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for attending, and I'd like to just start off with saying that it's an honor to be in here to speak to all of you and to share with you a little thing about how to achieve SMART goals. So without further ado, let's start. Okay, what an incredible accomplishment, right? Right? An incomparable high that comes with achieving something that you set out to do, right? So people, when you're out there setting goals, you know that when you achieve the goals, there is a sense of pride that you feel, an incredible high. Now, despite having good success, good successful feel about it, the highs do wear off, and it can be difficult to put on your thoughts back into action again, okay? Like, for example, how many times have you told yourself, I'm going to start going to the gym, and I'm going to start saving more, or I'm going to aim for that promotion, or I'm going to aim for that score of A in my test? How many times have you let your gym shoes go to collect dust? Spend needless things, have no real value, or let a comment that a friend or colleagues get you in your head and says, yeah, probably a couple, right? You had all the right intentions. You were super motivated, and you really believe that this time would be different. Yet, well, you're still in square one. So what's the deal? Well, the reality is the goals can't start and end with a declaration. They require action, and consequently, an action plan. In order for your plan to work, it needs to be one you want to follow. Now, I'm sure most of you know and are familiar with SMART goal method, S-M-A-R-T, right? I'm not sure if you, okay, you can go to slide 2. Daryl. Okay, SMART, right? It's an acronym: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. All right. So therefore, a SMART goal incorporates all these criteria to help focus your efforts and increase the chances of achieving your goal. Right? Now, it should encourage you to break into these 5 parts, right? SMART. When I graduated university, SMART goals were the greatest thin sliced bread, all right? My goals took on the shape of a checklist, and they were easy to do and easy to follow. But the more I did them, the more they tasted like burnt toast. So why? I mapped out my goals, put on a great deal of thought into how I was going to achieve them, but they fell short on emotions. Okay? They lacked something that prevented me from getting excited and going all in. They were missing the why. I came to realize that if I was not emotionally invested in my goals, I did not and would not succeed. We'll just go through the slides a little bit now on the acronym of SMART. So if you go to slide 3, next slide. SMART goals, okay, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. Just a question, moderator, these slides will be available for the students, right?
Yes, yes, we'll put it on our website as well, along with
Okay,
the
cool.
recording of this whole interview.
All right, so basically you do not have to take any notes on these slides. Okay, next slide. Next slide. Okay, being specific. Goals are specific, have a significant greater chance of being accomplished. To make a goal specific, the 5 W's: who, what, where, when, and why. Okay, for example, a general goal would be, I want to be a good student. A more specific goal would be, I want to obtain my scholastic degree and perhaps attain a higher certification after. Okay, next. Measurable. So a SMART goal must be measurable. If you need to determine your progress, and if you are on track to reach the goal, to make the goal measurable, ask yourself, how many, how much? How do I know if I have reached my goal? What is my indicator of progress? For example, building on a specific goal, I want to obtain a good general scholastic degree and work towards achieving A results. Every week, I aim to put in X amount of hours of study. So, measurable. Next. Achievable. A SMART goal must be achievable and attainable. This will help you figure out ways you can realize that goal and work together. The achievability of the goal should be stretched to make you feel challenged, but defined well enough that you can actually achieve it. Ask yourself again, do I have the resources and capabilities to achieve the goal? If not, what am I missing? Have others done it successfully before? Okay, next. Be realistic. A SMART goal must be realistic. In that, the goal can be realistically achieved given the available resources and time. Okay, a SMART goal is likely realistic if you believe it can be accomplished. Ask yourself, is the goal realistic and within reach? Is the goal reachable given the time and resources? Are you able to commit to achieving the goal? And next, timely. So you need to set a time. The goal must be time bound. Okay, ask yourself, does my goal have a deadline? by when do you want to achieve your goal. Okay. For example, building on the goal above, on January 1st, 2020, I want to obtain the scholastic general degree. I want to study X amount of hours per day, per week. At the end of 2022, I will have realized my goal. Okay? So, when you know this, you are much more likely to stay accountable and you work towards your why. You are much more likely to achieve success. Okay? Goals are extrinsic in nature, do not often drive behavior, and if they do, it's only for so long. When you focus on your why and find your intrinsic motivators, you tap into the part of the brain that feels to take action. When you're working towards something that has direct impact on your happiness, your health, or your future, it has so much more power than just a checklist. But mind you, you still need a checklist to guide you through the process. With SMART goals, you analyze when you perform at your best, when you remain accountable to your goals, and when you felt the most fulfilled. And you will recognize a pattern. Now, with these learnings, I would go into an alternative goal setting methodology, which I've been using as my go-to action plan for many years. It's another acronym called REAL, R-E-A-L, right? REAL isn't a matter of luck, nor is it a rocket science. It is a matter of knowing myself, what I want, what makes me happy, and making the moves I need to get me from where I am to where I want to be. Right? The companies that I've worked for seen tremendous success by setting real goals of their own. And you can do that too. The acronym represents the emotionally stimulating criteria that guide you to develop objectives that matters. Given that your goals and emotion change according to their context, this approach focuses more on accountability rather than trackability, and more active encouragement with your goals than simply measuring them would allow. Okay? So, is a real goal. Now, a real goal has resonant, empowering, actionable, and lucrative. So how does it work? Setting goals is easy, right? Sticking to them is harder. We all know that. So develop goals that resonate with your core and vibe with your values. Tying your goals to your values serves as a constant reminder of why you're pursuing them. If you're to connect your goals to your values, then I suggest reconsider the impact that goal has on achieving your version of success. Sometimes we convince ourselves we need to take certain steps in order to move forward. But there's no one road to success. Allow yourself to go off a certain path if it doesn't feel right. Right? Checklist won't motivate you to the top, but you know what will. Goals that empower. So that's E. First one was R, now it's E, empowering. So empower, goals that empower you every time you think of them, and how you develop that goal. Develop goals that embody your strength, that get the blood pumping through your veins, and make you want to jump out of bed into action. When you feel you're in control of your own journey, um, believe me, there is no obstacle too big to overcome. Constantly reinvest your energy into your goals so that you can continue to learn more, achieve more, and be more. Now, in my history of work experience, many people do quit before they begin to see progress because they're intimidated by the huge tasks that they envision. So don't fall into that. It is important to remember that every single step counts, and progress comes in many shapes and sizes. Breaking down your goals into actionable steps ensures that you will remain challenged enough to keep interest without letting yourself or setting yourself up to fail. Okay? Having identified your strengths, start with steps you know you will do well. Accomplish those steps early on, trigger positive behavioral momentum, and build your confidence as the steps become more and more challenging. Now, the last is L, REAL, acronym lucrative, right? Your goal needs to be lucrative, right? You must stand to gain something from achieving them. Now, it may not be monetary. Be a little bit selfish. Acknowledge what's in it for you. Now, this does not mean that your parents, your friends, your colleagues, or your partners cannot benefit from it. But do identify how it contributes to your purpose. Whether you learn something new, let go of old behaviors, or turn a profit in, or know, well, how should I put it? Knowing what you gain makes it easier to work towards them, right? When you set goals that reflect your mission, that embodies your best traits, that is doable and offers value, um, that is and that is not a set and forget goal. Yeah, you can't put something like that aside. Okay, give yourself a real shot at achieving something important for you. Now, again, importance of setting SMART goals, right? Often individual or businesses will set themselves up for failure by setting general and unrealistic goals, such as, I want to be the best of X. That goal is vague, with no sense of direction, right? SMART goals sets you up for success by making goals specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. It helps you push you further, gives you a sense of direction, and helps you organize and reach your goal. Okay, next slide, Daryl. So question yourself, what exactly do I want to achieve? Where, how, when, with whom, what are the conditions and limitations? What exactly do I want to, why exactly do I want to reach this goal? What are possible alternative ways of achieving the same? Okay, next. Okay, make it happen. You've already taken a first step by using SMART criteria. Set your targets that are informative and motivating. So write your goals down. Set regular check-ins. Yeah, remember, celebrate your wins. Yes, even the small ones, right? Don't set goals that are too long. Break it down into quarters so that when you achieve small goals, celebrate the small goals. Okay? So a template that I've put up here is, my goal is to blank by, the blank means quantifiable objective. By when? Give yourself a deadline. I or we, if collectively you're a group, will accomplish this goal by what steps you will take to achieve the goal. Accomplishing this goal will blank. Will give you the result that you want or the benefit that you want. Next. So, I hope that this small, short little talk that I have with you will give you a stepping stone into how you can achieve SMART goals that you set for yourselves. All right. Remember, all right, chance favors the prepared mind. To truly prepare for success means preparing your mind, right? And beaching the person you need to be in order to take action without hesitation when the opportunity presents themselves to you. So I wish you all best of luck in your setting of your goals and achieving your success for your future. If there are any questions that you have, you can post them now. And if their time permits, I will try to answer them as best as possible.
Okay, thank you so much, Felix.
I'll
So
put
yeah,
this back to the mod now.
as Felix has mentioned, now it's time for our Q&A session. I understand that we have many students who are interested in finding more about scholarships and on scholarship guide itself, but we have the second Q&A session reserved for that. Unfortunately, we know we have close to 300 participants right now, so we are unable to open up the audio and the webcam for you guys to ask questions directly. So what we have done is that we have opened the chat up. So you just have to send in your questions to us and then we will ask Felix directly with the questions. So while you guys are coming up with the different questions you have for Felix, I mean, it's quite it's quite an opportunity to have someone here who is so well established in his own field. So you can ask Felix questions about his own professional career, or what are the things that he has, what are the particular methods that he has used throughout his life to achieve his goals and his or something like that. So to kick the ball rolling, so I have prepared some questions to ask Felix, and the first question I will have for Felix is actually quite pertaining to this very situation. So what practices can you recommend for dealing with nervousness when speaking to groups? Because I believe that for someone of your caliber, you have spoken to huge groups. And so maybe this is something that you can share with the students on how they can overcome this if they have any fears in public speaking.
Oh, I'm always nervous during public speaking. There is no one situation that anyone would be not nervous. But like I said in my ending slide, right? Prepare your mind. When you're prepared, just go with it. You don't have to be pulling yourself back and speak what you have prepared and say what you have prepared. So without hesitation, just I would say prepare yourself. So for anything that you do, whether you're going for an exam, whether you're going to do public speaking, or there's always the nervousness and that uh, tense moment. But once you get into it, uh, you go with the flow, and your nervousness would somehow, well, it will not be gone, right? But it will still, you will be able to confidently present yourself well. So my suggestion is, whatever you do, prepare yourself, prepare your mind.
Okay, we have another question for Felix. So this is from a student. So the student says that I'm at a point in life where there is a lot of decision making to do. So how do I know if I've made the right decisions?
Okay, there is no win-win situation here, right? You have to give something to gain something, right? Whichever choice that you make in life, whatever it is, right? So there are a few questions you can ask yourself. If I don't do this now, will I regret it in the future? That's one. Second question you can ask yourself, what am I afraid of? Okay, people often get stuck with decisions because they're scared of what will happen, all right, if they make a choice, right? Some people are afraid of failure, others are scared of success. So ask yourself, what am I afraid of? The third question you can ask yourself is, what does my heart say? Your gut instincts are often the right ones, okay? So believe in yourself, okay? Remember I said resonate. You should never make a decision that doesn't resonate with your deep inside, okay? Fourth thing that you should ask yourself is, what am I really doing this for? Okay? The wisest decision you can make are those that keep the end in mind. Okay? So if your end goal is, say, for example, study, job satisfaction, right? So ask yourself, what am I really doing this for? Next question you should ask yourself is, who am I really doing this for? Don't let others' agendas or advice sway you from making the right decision. It is always important to have others' interests at heart when making a decision, but you shouldn't always sacrifice your own needs and desires to please another person. Okay? So take a balanced look at how your choices will benefit you as well as others when facing a tough decision in life. Next question you ask yourself is, will I like myself after this decision that I made? Okay? Anyone can make a difficult decision that ticks all the boxes in terms of solutions without taking into account how that decision may make them feel about themselves. Okay, if you make a decision that is careless or uncaring, you might not end up liking yourself very much. Okay. Last question you should ask yourself is, can I cope with the fallout? Right? Choices are like a dynamo. When you make one decision, it paves the way, or it paves the way for other situations to occur, which you will then have to deal with. Making a tough decision in life can have many ramifications. Taking certain paths can affect your finances. Taking certain paths can affect your relationships. Taking certain paths can affect your friendships or your career. Think things through and decide whether you're able to cope with the consequences of your decision and how you will deal with it if your decision is a fallout. Okay.
Okay, we have another question, or rather we have two questions that I think is quite similar in nature. So one of the question is, how do you break out of a procrastination cycle? And similarly, how do you keep yourself motivated during tough times?
Okay, procrastination. Gone through that before, whether I should, whether I should not. Can I do this or can I don't do that? Should I do it or should I not? Uh, how do you break out of that uh, session? Well, like I said previously, there is no win-win situation. If you don't do certain things, the cause and effect of it will have a negative or a positive outcome. So which would you prefer, a negative or a positive outcome? So balance yourself every time, when you procrastinate. Ask yourself, okay, if I do this, what will the outcome be? Positive, negative. If I do that, what will the outcome be? Positive, negative. Now, sometimes a negative outcome may be good, right? It all depends on the situation that you're in. Sorry, Daryl, the question following it would be?
Okay, so how do you keep yourself motivated during tough times? Because I think we have a few questions that are very similar, like how do you prevent
Yeah,
burnout in the pursuit of the goals? So it's more about motivation.
yeah. Everyone has different motivational buttons that they have on them. Okay, some are motivated just by being happy, whatever they do. But some need the bigger motivation buttons to say, okay, look, for example, at the end of what I want to do, I want to be able to gain X and X and X amount of money. So that is a very big motivational factor for some. All right. Some may not be motivated by money. Some may be motivated by, like I said, happiness. I for one example, give an example of working in an organization. Some employees of mine are motivated by monetary rewards. All right. So at the end of the year, they're all expecting, oh, I worked so hard, and I'm entitled to X and X amount of bonuses because some, when you talk to them, they says, oh no, I'm very happy working in an organization. I'm very grateful to get an opportunity working here in this job. And that's motivational enough for them, all right? And the managers patting them on the back and say, hey, look, good job, well done. And that's a great motivation for them, not necessarily monetary. So you all have to sit down and think about what really motivates you, and how do you want to accomplish what you want in life that motivates you. For me, yeah, when I was younger, money motivates me. Yes, I want to be the next manager, then I want to be the next senior manager, then I want to be the next general manager, because every time I get a promotion, there will be a monetary increase in terms of salary, and that's what motivates me. But when I get to a position where I become the chief executive officer of a company, then money is no more a motivational aspect of my life. The motivational factor for me is seeing my team and my colleagues work well together, harmoniously in a company without internal politics. And that's a motivational factor for me. So, yeah.
Okay, so Maybe just to refresh everyone's mind. So Felix has been in the F&B industry for more than 30 years. So we have a question what is something you'd like to change about your current role or your industry?
What I want to change in my current role and industry. Well, I like to be able to empower my team to work independently. So that's the thing that I want to be able to change in the industry, because the food and beverage industry is a very hierarchical industry. You know, you have your servers and waiters, and then you have your kitchen staff, and then you have, you know, the office team, the management team. And then more often than not, the management teams are the one that makes the decision for the entire company's next year's business plan or marketing plan. What I want to do, what I would like to do is empower, you know, the servers, the kitchen hands, everybody actually across the line from bottom to top, from top to bottom, to pitch in, to be able to give their ideas of how to improve the organization, rather than just listening from the top down. I will invert the triangle, bottom up. That's what I like to do.
Okay, we have another question. What is a good methodology or tool for project management and tracking commitments?
Very simple. Keep everybody on the same page, right? Everybody, when I mean everybody, from top to bottom, from bottom to top, even the cleaning lady, even the person that throws out the trash, everyone in your organization has to be on the same page. Yeah.
Yeah, I have quite a light-hearted question. So this student is asking, do you have to be very strict to be a CEO?
I wouldn't say strict. I would say you have to be very intelligent in terms of handling all aspects of emotional consciousness in the organization. When I say emotional, because you're dealing with people from all aspects of life, being at the top, right? You're dealing with the servers, you're dealing with mid-management, you're dealing with high management, you're dealing with board of directors. So yeah, a fair level of intelligence would go a long way.
Okay, so
you do not have to be strict. You just have to be intelligent, and you have to be fair, right, to everyone, right? Not just to some. Everyone, you have to be fair.
okay, so let's just end off this session with Felix. I mean, he has shared many valuable insights. So I will end off with the very last question. And I think this is something that maybe a lot of students are also wondering in their mind. So the question is, how do you know which career was right for you? What were the factors you considered when deciding on what to study in university and what career to pursue later on? So I think even when we are on the ground at various career fairs, we do get a lot of questions like this when students are asking us, you know, they are not sure what are the career path they should be taking. And because of that, or rather the other way around, what are the things that they should study or that they choose to pursue in the academic career that might actually affect their outcome. So back to the question, how do you know that the F&B career was right for you?
I didn't. I, well, accidentally came into the F&B industry. Prior to the F&B industry, I was in the travel industry. And with the meetings, incentive conferences, and exhibitions industry, where I organize conferences and meetings all over the world for international companies or organizations from Singapore who wants to go overseas to do a conference. At that time, while doing the conferencing and meetings, I got experience in terms of organizing and managing food for hundreds and thousands of people going for the meetings. And I felt that was interesting. You know, I have to prepare menu. I have to make sure that the kitchen, the stocks, the food has to be prepared in a certain way. The presentation of the food, the layout of the eating hall. What kind of food the people like to eat? You know, some are kosher, some are vegetarian, some are what do you call special request diet. And that got me interested to say, hey, look, okay, food and beverage is quite interesting. It's not just food and beverage, you know, not just cakes, kway and fried rice. It's more than that. So I jumped incidentally and I stuck onto it for 30 years. And still, it's still very intriguing for me because I still meet up with people who say, look, you know, why don't you change the menu to this? Why don't you, you know, I like to eat this. And yeah. On the question of what kind of career path you should take. Now, this is something that I don't think I can answer, all right? It's a very difficult question to answer you. You have to answer this question yourself, what you should do in your life. Now, I know of people who tell me that, okay, look, my parents want me to be a lawyer, or my parents want me to be a doctor. My parents are doctors, my parents are lawyers, so therefore I want to be a doctor or a lawyer. I do know many lawyers who are not lawyers after graduating. I do know many doctors who are no longer doctors, but are businessmen. You know, same for lawyers who are businessmen right now. Yeah, and it really depends on yourself. I can't say, okay, look, you should not be a lawyer or you should not be a doctor. You should be you know, something else in your life. So yeah, to be politically correct, what kind of career path you should take. Maybe you should do a bit more research into your own self life, what you aspire to be, what you want to achieve in your academic pursuit, and from there you can decide. You know, there are so many avenues of where you can go. It's not only the food and beverage. It's not only you know, the legal aspects. It's not only the medical. There's so many careers. You know, we don't even know exist sometimes. Some may want to go to fundraising for charitable organizations. Some, you know, yeah, it really depends on yourselves, right? So I can't really say pinpoint to say, okay, you must be a doctor or you must be a lawyer or you must be this or you must be that. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much,
Yeah,
especially to
that's
Felix.
from me.
Felix is actually connecting with us from overseas. So, but don't worry. I mean, we still have some questions for Felix that some students has asked, but it has not been answered. I think Felix should be hanging around, but we still have to go on with our program. So don't worry. There's still a second session for the Q&A. So if you have any questions regarding, you know, scholarships or you know, things like in that nature, you can just keep sending your questions in, and my team and I will actually look through those questions. So what I'd like to share now is that for us as Scholarship Guide, we have an annual survey that we are doing. So right now, you know, you get to to stand a chance to win the iPhone in our survey. So this survey is open to all the students. So all you have to do is go to the web link there, or you can even scan the QR code and actually answer the questions inside. The questions we will be asking you is about scholarships and education in general. And at the end of the whole campaign, we'll do a lucky draw. The top prize is an iPhone, and we do have consolation prizes as well. So just do consider going up into the survey when you're available. And yeah, so right now, this part of the program, we'll be actually playing a video that actually gives an introduction about Scholarship Guides web portal, for the different functionalities on the site. So, in the meantime, while you're watching the video, if you have any questions for Scholarship Guide or even for Felix, you can just keep sending them in. All the materials that are shown today, including the recording of this meeting, as well as the FAQ, the questions that you guys have asked, we'll also upload it into our website this week. So just enjoy the video for now. Okay, so it's back to our Q&A session. So for those who are asking about the link to the online, our scholarship guide survey 2020, so this will be the link you guys can access. So right now, I think we can go back to answering some of the questions you guys have. Is Felix, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. There are more questions asking you than scholarship guide. So let me just ask the questions on the students' behalf. So we have a question that goes like this. What's a good way to start a business? Also, is it advisable to work for someone first, then gain experience before starting a business, or go straight into business? So I think with your experience, you are able to share this.
Well, I started off working for people, and I've never started a business of my own. Okay. Um, all my entire 35 years in my working experience is working for an organization. On saying that, I do know of people who fresh grad, just graduated and started their own successful business in Singapore and in a lot of Southeast Asia countries. So, if you have a great idea and and you're able to fund it in that sense to create your great idea. Yeah, I mean, success in business is never a sure win formula. Okay, some you win, some you lose. So I would say if you have a great idea or a great product or something that is innovative, yeah, take that leap of faith and make sure you plan well, plan your finances well, and jump into it. By all means, be entrepreneurial. I mean, we all encourage entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, to go into business on their own. Whereas for me, it's not that I didn't have any opportunity to go into business on my own. It's because year after year, working in large organizations, the company is always expanding. There's new countries to open, and so that kept going on for 30 plus years. So I didn't really have an opportunity to start a business on my own. Okay. So yeah, I mean, there's two positive ways of going about it. You can start off working for people, gain the experience, gain the know-how. Yeah, I know of people who go finish law school, will become a lawyer, and then gain experience, and then open their own law firm. Yeah, why not?
Okay, Felix, I have another
So
question
yeah.
for you from the student. What qualities led you to where you are now? So I think maybe you can share about what you think are the important qualities or characteristics that a successful uh, professional should have.
Well, I learned from my mentors, and I didn't become a senior management staff just by luck. I studied under many mentors who were my bosses previously, and I learned a very important characteristics that most bosses have, and that is trust in your team. Sometimes bosses tend to not trust their team and then want to do things his or her own way. way, and that creates a lot of animosity within the organization. Now, if a boss or a senior manager were to trust their team to handle the situation, things works out better. Because when you trust your team, you're telling your team, hey, look, the project or the outcome of the situation is their good job, their hard work, right? And one thing you do is never take credit of your team's work. Always make sure that your team gets the credit for good work done. Now, if there's bad work done, you as the team leader or the manager or the boss have to take that bad credit, because if you don't handle your team well, then it's not your team's fault. It is your own. So always understand that, when you become management. Have I answered the question?
Yep, you surely did. Just to make one announcement, I know a lot of you guys are messaging in that you can't access the survey right now. I think due to the very, very high traffic we are facing now, so the site is experiencing some slowdown. So don't worry, this survey is actually until to October. So from now to October, you can just take your time to go in to answer the questions. So try again later if you're not able to access the link, because even on our site, some of us when we try to get into the link, some of us can get in, some cannot get in. So don't worry, just copy the link down and you can access it on a later time. So I think it's about time. So let's just end off the very final question. I think this question I'll just ask Felix as well, because I have a few students asking a question in a similar caliber. So let me just rephrase the question. So most of them are asking about pertaining to scholarship. So how do you stand out for during the scholarship interview, or when you don't have anything significant or achievements in your portfolio? So I think likewise, this can be applied to later on in life when you're going for job interviews. So maybe I rephrase it to Felix would be, what are the other things you can do for your resume if you don't have a very outstanding achievement in it? So how do you get the attention of the interviewer?
How do you get the attention of the interviewer? I would say a very creative way of doing your resume, right? Your cover letter is important. How you draft your cover letter, right? That is something that captivates the person that is looking for a particular skill set of person for the organization. Take for example, you're applying for a marketing position now. Yeah, you have all the qualifications and you have everything else, but to capture the attention of the person who wants to take your resume and say, hey, this person I want you, is to be creative in your cover letter. Write a story about yourself, tell a joke. You could do a simple caricature drawing that captures the intention of what the marketing position is for you, for that person. So if you know you're applying for a marketing job, then creativity is something that is important, right? So be creative. Don't just send a standard letter. Dear so and so, my name is what dash dash dash. I graduated from dash 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 university. I mean all this boring stuff, right? How do you be creative, you know. Draw, it could be a comic caricature in your cover letter, you know, in a 3-box say, okay, look, I am interested in this job. Why? You know? Yeah. So something interesting. Right? Qualification is qualification. Capturing the attention of the interviewers. So the way to open that door is to be creative. You don't have to write a standard letter that everybody writes. Okay? You could even mail your resume in a gift box, you know. Yeah, that's one example.
Okay, I think we have come to the end of our webinar session today. So first of all, I'd like to thank all the students and everyone for coming in to join our very, very first session. Maybe there might be a bit of hiccup here and there, but I think we did well so far. And of course, not forgetting we have to thank Felix all the way overseas to join in on a Zoom call. He's a very, very busy man, so it's really difficult to take that hour away from him to share with you guys all your questions and his answers as well. So like I mentioned again, all these materials that we are including the recording of this meeting will be available on our website at scholarshipguide.com.sg, including some of the questions that are being asked as well as the PowerPoint slide that Felix shared pertaining to goal setting. So thank you guys for coming to join us today. So this is the end of our webinar, and all the best and stay safe during this period, and see you soon. Bye.
Take care, everybody. Stay safe. Bye-bye.